For some celebrities, their lives are cut way too short, and while these stars continue to inspire people in the entertainment industry today, it makes you wonder what sort of impact they would have had if they were still with us today. Hi, I'm Stacey Taylor, and today I'm counting down the top 10 celebrities who passed away before 30. So which celebrity passings hurt you the most, and let us know in the comments below. Coming in number 10 today, we have Mac Miller. Mac Miller appeared on the hip-hop scene in 2007 with his debut studio album Blue Side Park, and it became the first independently distributed debut album to top the US Billboard 200 since 1995. Unfortunately, the star would pass away in his California home in San Fernando Valley back in 2018 due to substances. Mac had been publicly struggling with substances over the years, and it was reported he was on the road to recovery before he relapsed. Ryan Revis would then be sentenced to 10 years and 11 months for supplying the rapper with the substances. When fans and friends found out about Mac's passing, the world would be devastated, including his former girlfriend Ariana Grande. In a heartbreaking tribute to Miller, Ariana would write, "I can't believe you aren't here anymore. I really can't wrap my head around it. I'm so mad, I'm so sad, I don't know what to do. I'm sorry I couldn't fix it or take your pain away. I really wanted to." Later, Mac's family would even start a charity called the Mac Miller Circle Fund to help Mac's name carry on while supporting young musicians with resources to help them realize their full potential through exploration, expression, and community. Number 9, Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD was a talented young rapper and singer whose career was taking off, getting his inspiration for his stage name from Tupac's performance in the 1992 film Juice. Juice WRLD was on his way to the top, and when the world found out about the rapper and that he had passed away from a seizure in Chicago's Midway Airport, the world would start to mourn his passing. Later, according to TMZ, Juice's flight from California had just landed. After the rapper and his entourage deplaned, witnesses would say he started to have a seizure while he was walking through the airport. Juice WRLD's major label career was starting just after he climbed to the top of the charts in 2018. His first huge hit came in the summer of 2018 with his song Lucid Dreams, which made it to the number 2 spot on the billboards. Then his song with Lil Yachty, All Girls Are the Same, it also became a huge success. In fact, that it was the song's success that drew the attention of Interscope Records, which signed him to a multi-million-dollar contract 1 month after releasing his first studio album. Goodbye and good riddance. Juice released the 2-track EP Too Soon as a tribute to Lil Peep and X. Juice was also featured on Travis Scott's enormous Astroworld album, singing the hook on the track No Bystanders. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming in number 8, we have TakeOff. TakeOff was 1/3 of the platinum selling rap group Migos, and after one fatal night, he would pass away at the age of 28. Since his untimely passing, it has brought a great deal of pain and sorrow to so many lives, and his group members feel like they are in a dark place as they struggle to deal with the loss of their family member. On November 1st, 2022, TakeOff's name would start to make headlines after he suddenly passed away in Houston after attending a private party which had around 40 to 50 guests. According to multiple witnesses, TakeOff and his uncle Quavo were playing dice when the incident occurred. Then TMZ would later publish an audio recording where Quavo could be seen talking to the operator and asking what a nurse on the scene needed to do to potentially help save TakeOff's life before police and ambulance arrived. Losing TakeOff was a huge loss in 2022, and the world is definitely not the same without his sense of peacefulness and aura. Number 7, Avicii. Avicii was one of the pioneer artists which bridged the gap between electronic and country music. As a DJ, music producer, and remixer, among other titles, during his time on Earth, he blessed us with record hits like The Nights, Hey Brother, and Wake Me Up to show his influence and uniqueness in EDM. Being named Tim Burling at birth, he chose the stage name Avicii, meaning the lowest level of Buddhist hell, which he began his music career with because his real name was already being used on MySpace. In 2011, he would then shoot to fame when he released his single Levels. And when he debuted his album True in 2013, it would feature his award-winning hit Wake Me Up, which topped music charts all over the world, and it peaked at the number 4 spot in the United States. Then on April 20th, 2018, the news of Avicii's passing would then be plastered all over the media, all over the world. 6 days later, his family would then confirm that Avicii took his own life, and they explained in a statement that he could no longer go on and that he wanted to find peace. And since it's left so many puzzles and questions questions surrounding his passing. Number 6. Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse was Britain's greatest rising talent. With 2 albums and several Grammys under her belt, Amy was poised to stay on top, but she couldn't compete with her alcohol addiction, which would end up being the reason behind her passing in July of 2011. According to the Daily Mail, Amy spent her final hours drinking and watching YouTube videos of herself before passing away from alcohol poisoning. The massive amount she drank would cause her to stop breathing and fall into a coma. Her security guard who lived with her said she seemed to be her usual bubbly self the night before, and he discovered that she passed away the following day. Winehouse previously had been battling with an alcohol addiction, and she was reportedly sober for 12 to 13 days before her passing, but just 3 days before she passed, she started drinking again because she was bored. According to the Rolling Stone profile, on her tragic life, the years leading up to her passing were difficult. She was reportedly in and out of rehab for substance abuse, and she landed assault charges for fighting, and she often emerged in public looking awful with sores on her face and scratches all over her body. Her father would also state that Amy smoking landed her in the early stages of emphysema, and working also became difficult for her as she was unable to secure the proper paperwork to travel to the United States to perform. Number 5. Heath Leger. Dark Knight star Heath Leger was one of Hollywood's most respected young actors at the time of his sudden passing in January 2008. According to US Weekly, Heath's passing was due to acute intoxication. The list of substances found in Heath's system during his toxicology results were lengthy. Years later, the public would then learn that his sister Kate warned the star of mixing so many prescriptions together. When his father Kim told the Daily Mail, his sister was on the phone with him the night before telling him not to take prescription medication with sleeping tablets, and then he said, Katie, I'm fine now, I know what I'm doing." His father would then know Heath had no idea what he was doing. Kim would also say that he loved his son dearly before saying, "It's totally his fault, it was no one else's, he reached for the substances, he put them in his system, you can't blame anyone in that situation." That's hard to accept because I love him so much and was so proud of him. In the months before his passing, Heath would describe his restless state to the New York Times after completing Dark Knight, and he said, "I couldn't stop thinking, my body was exhausted and my mind was still going." Number 4. Tupac. Rap star Tupac was quickly building a mega music empire before his passing on September 13th, 1996. Tupac was the casualty behind a drive-by incident in Las Vegas after 4 clippings struck him in the chest on September 7th. After being rushed to a nearby medical center for care, doctors would remove his right lung to give him a slim chance of living. Tupac would then ultimately pass away due to respiratory failure and cardiopulmonary arrest. According to attending officer Chris Carroll, at the scene of the crime, Tupac's final moments were not so kind as he told CNN, "He looked at me, he took a breath to get words out, and he opened his mouth, and then the words came out, F you." For years, the troubled and often controversial rapper's passing has plagued fans in the media. With no suspects charged, Tupac's passing has largely remained a mystery. And while Tupac's former business partner and friend, Suge Knight, claims he knows who is responsible for Tupac's passing, he's also claimed that it was supposed to be him in Tupac's place, as Knight claims his ex-wife, Sharita, and former Death Row security head, Reggie Wright Jr., were out to get him, but got the wrong guy. Number 3. Selena. Mexico's leading lady in the early 90s was Selena. At the tender age of 23, she amassed thousands of fans all over Central and North America. But her reign came to a screeching halt after her former employee and president of her fan club, Yolanda Saldivar, took Selena's life at a motel at Corpus Christi, Texas in March 1995. Selena's father, Abraham, would then explain to the New York Times that Yolanda had been fired from her job at the family's clothing store over missing money 3 weeks before the incident. And then, as the story goes, Selena asked for the money back and they arranged to meet up, and Yolanda would take Selena's life, and then she would enter into a 10-hour standoff with police. Then in March 2017, 22 years after Selena's passing, the star's family remembered her, and her sister would tell Entertainment Tonight, "Early on when she passed away, people told me that time heals your heart, and I couldn't understand that. It's not so much that time heals your heart, it's more that it helps you deal with with what's been put in front of you. Selena's father would then say, "We're programmed emotionally to accept that older folks go first, but when your child goes first, it's a different kind of pain." Number 2. Sharon Tate. On August 9th, 1969, Sharon Tate and 4 others would gruesomely lose their lives in Sharon's Los Angeles homes after they fell into the hands of the Manson family cult. While many people have never heard of her, Sharon was an actress that snagged a number of roles in films. She hadn't had her big break yet, and her grisly passing at 8.5 months pregnant, however, immortalized her as one of the cult's most tragic victims. The day before her passing was like any other. She rented a mansion in California with friends. She laid out by the pool and complained about her husband, who is Roman Polanski. And she went out for dinner. At the end of the night, she and 3 others returned to the house, and none of them saw the 4 followers of Charles Manson as they approached the property in the wee hours of August 9th, 1969. While the followers were not specifically targeting Sharon or her absent husband, Manson had told them to go to the house because of its former occupant, producer Terry Melcher, as he declined to get Manson the record deal he craved. And coming in number 1 today, we have Biggie Smalls. On March 10th, 1977, violence would rage out once again, and this time it would take out Brooklyn rapper Biggie Smalls. Being 24 at the time, Biggie would become a victim of a drive-by in Los Angeles. As the story goes, Biggie was exiting a party, and while he was waiting outside of his SUV, that's when a car pulled up and took him out. Just years earlier, he would confess in an interview that he was fearful that he could be taken at any moment, and he was scared, and he even hid things under his mattress in an attempt to feel safe while he was sleeping at home. 20 years later, Biggie's mother, Valletta Wallace, would come out to say she knows who took her son's life. She would then go on to blame the Los Angeles Police Department for dragging their feet, and she even said, "I genuinely believe the LAPD knows exactly who did it too." Then she would tell the Daily Mail they've done their investigation, but they refuse to move forward. "I don't know why they haven't arrested who was involved. It seems to me it's one giant conspiracy." Biggie's short life and rise to fame was then imagined on the silver screen for the 2009 film Notorious, that was directed by George Tillman Jr., and it starred big-name actors such as Angela Bassett and Derek Luke, and it also earned a host of nominations as well as an applause from Biggie's fans. Well, that's it for this video, my little peaches. Until the next one, remember to stay juicy.